All right, guys. Well, here we are again. Let me jump on a Discord and let a few people know that doing a live stream. Doing a live stream. Come on in, guys. Boom. I still need to get it more figured out to how to get a proper link going, but whatever. It's all good. Hey, Braden. That was quick, man. You get in here fast. All right. Well, so let's kind of show off what we're doing today. So, that was weird. I've never seen my YouTube do that before. My YouTube just now sent me a notification that I am streaming, which is really weird. I've never seen it do that before. Okay, well now I'm officially notified of myself, so that's good. So let's kind of talk about this card a little bit. So I'm actually doing Burst Lightning today, and this is another one of those commons that I'm a pretty big fan of. And the thing that's really cool about this particular card, like I said, all the cards I pick are based on utility, and Burst Lightning is really nice because one of the things I really love about certain kinds of Magic cards is I love cards that are more than one card packed into a single card. So for example, like some of my favorite examples of that are cards that are the charm cards. Like you'll frequently see like Funeral Charm or any of the charms that you see, whether it's a single color or whether they're, multiple colors. The charms are awesome. And the reason why is because the charms are always frequently it's like 3 different effects, and it's like having 3 cards packed into one, which I almost treat like as if it's like it's like as if you're cutting your deck down, like when you're trying to fill in a deck with like 60 cards and you put in a card that has multiple different effects stapled into one card. It's like as if you're cutting your deck down by 2 cards by putting in a single card. And so any cards in general that what are the cards you have picked for that pack? Oh, well, yeah, I'll be going over that in a little bit, Braden. I decided that today is going to be the day where I actually tell people what's going on with that. So I'll get to that in a couple minutes, I promise. You just happen to be lucky and we're in the right place at the right time. Oh, no, it's okay. Don't even sweat it, dude. It's totally fine. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time to learn some of the secrets of the behind the scenes of what I'm up to. So I will definitely go over that in today's stream, because I feel like since I went ahead and started telling some people about it, I might as well just come out and tell everybody. So I'll talk a little bit about this card a bit more, and then I will actually go over into my quote-unquote ulterior motives. Hey, Goat, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. So I'm working on Burst Lightning today, and the reason why I like this card is because I was talking about cards that have multiple effects stapled onto a single card, and I really love cards that like that, because cards that have more than one effect attached to them frequently find more usage and are less likely to be what I call dead cards that you hold on to and never use. So Burst Lightning is like that with Shock. It's like a super shock. It has the stereotypical 1 red, 2 damage to any target, but it also has the kicker with an extra 4, so you pay 5 mana, and it'll hit something for 4 damage instead of 2. And that's great because that turns Burst Lightning into a early game spell, as well as early game removal in general. And it also allows it to be a late game spell, so that when you're in the late game and you need that extra 4 damage to push you over the top, whether it's to kill a really beefy, 4 toughness creature, or whether it's for the purpose of pegging your opponent for the last 4 life points that he has. It's good for that exact kind of thing, and it makes it feel like that the card has value no matter, and when I say value, it's funny, I'm using the old school term of value, not the new school version, which is people look at value as in monetary value nowadays, but I'm using the term value as how we used to use it back in the old days, which is it has value in its playability. So you can find value in it, whether it's the late, like the early game, or whether it's the late game. It's always going to serve you some kind of purpose in one way or another, and it's able to fluctuate between 2 and 4, which is very nice, very flexible, and that's why it made it onto my selection of Powerhouse Commons, because of how flexible it is. And you'll always find a utility for it at whatever price you end up paying for it. So, yeah, that's the card that I'm going to be working on. And the thing is that I've also noticed that this is another one of those cards, like I said, because I'm picking so many cards that are based on power and utility and not necessarily their art. This is another one of those cards where I feel like the art is very underwhelming. I would actually say that this is probably not my most favorite of the arts that I've looked into. And it's because I don't really understand the full connection of the art to the card. And this is the case where, like, yeah, it's called Burst Lightning. And yeah, you can see that there's a whole bunch of lightning up here, but like, what's going on? Like, you know, what's the effect of this lightning? Like, it's hitting a mountain, you know, like you have this tower of rock, and it's like, well, it's not like you can target lands with Burst Lightning. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to blow up a land with this card. And, you know, there are some human beings, but they're way down here at the bottom, and there's no lightning touching them at all. So I always thought this card was a major miss on its art. But I actually really think it's going to be fun to mess around with, though, because one of my ideas that I was going to have was I was actually going to like put lightning bolts over here on the sides is one of my ideas that I had, just to kind of give it more pizzazz and more accuracy towards the art as to what the card is. I don't exactly know 100% how I'm going to go about it, but I definitely know that the areas where I am altering, I am actually going to try to add some things to make the art just feel a little more correct with what the card actually is. So we'll see what's going on there, because, you know, it's very weird to have a card called Burst Lightning and you don't really see like an actual burst of lightning that's killing anything. So we're gonna mess around with that in the future. So let me I know that there's only 2 people in here, so I'll probably be bringing up this topic a couple of times. I'll probably do it. I'm going to do it right now, even though there's only 2 people in here, and I'll probably bring it up a little bit more if more people pile into the stream as well. So Braden made a comment saying, "I can't wait to see what other cards you have picked for that pack." Now, what he's referring to is basically I kind of, last night in Cinder Shadow's stream, I kind of revealed my big secret as to what my overall project is with doing all these altered cards. Let's go unhinged and add a Starburst in Sky. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what we're up to. It could be fun. Who knows? So basically what I did was yesterday in Cinder's stream, I decided to reveal my great big secret as to what project I'm working on with doing all these alters on these streams. And what I explained is that basically you'll notice that I said that basically I'm doing 15 streams for 15 cards. And the reason why I am doing 15 cards specifically is because in your regular everyday booster pack, you know, most booster packs anyways, there are 15 cards. So my goal here is I am planning to basically paint 15 cards for the purpose of making an altered art booster pack. I'm hearing some weird noise in the background. Hold on a second. What is that? What's going on here? Oh, okay, whatever. Never mind. It's just my sound system being kind of weird. I'm just gonna ignore it because I know it'll go away in a minute. I'm having all sorts of weird issues with my speakers recently, so I'm probably gonna have to get them replaced soon because they're pretty old. Anyways, so basically what I'm doing is I'm making my own altered art booster pack, and the whole goal when I had this idea, the whole point was that I was going to. I always kind of said, like, with what happened with Modern Horizons, and also talking about other modern Masters packs and things like that. I remember a couple of different people talking about, like, it would just be, they're so bad at picking their cards for, these modern Masters and modern Horizons and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you like Little Pepper? Yeah, I actually painted that a long time ago. I didn't make this for the streaming. I actually painted that out of boredom many, many months ago, actually. Just for fun, shits and giggles. So anyways, I basically decided, I want to make my own Modern Masters pack. And so with all these streams that I'm doing and all these alters I'm doing, I am doing what I am temporarily, the name might change as I go along, but I'm doing what I'm calling a spicy Masters pack. And the idea is that I'm picking cards that I believe are deservable in a Masters set. And I'm not 100% sure if I've. Well, it's actually funny because I've already picked 2 iconic Masters cards. So that might seem a little ridiculous to have picked 2 cards that have been printed in iconic Masters for my own personal Masters pack. But I do legitimately think that the 2 iconic Masters cards that I picked are actually deservedly so in the Masters packs. Those cards were Kiln Fiend and Elusive Spellfist. I personally think those cards are extremely powerful. And they kind of, I feel like in their own way, they do kind of deserve to be, Masters cards. So that's why I picked them. And it was originally, this was also when I did those cards, I did those at a time when I wasn't even sure what I was actually doing. I knew that I was building a booster pack, but I wasn't 100% sure what it was going to be. So that's why I also picked those, because I wasn't necessarily thinking like I was building a Masters pack. I was just picking cards I liked. So that's what's going on. I am planning to build this whole pack, and I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do. I've already picked out all my commons. I've already picked out all my uncommons. And the only card that I have not picked is the rare and or mythic rare. So I have no idea what I'm going to do there, because there are so many really powerful, good rares and mythic rares that I have not actually come to a decision of which one I want to actually paint. And I also have to be very careful with what I paint for that particular purpose, because if I pick a card that's very powerful and very expensive, if I'm not sure that that's what I really want, then that could possibly be a major dent in my wallet, because I'll paint something that is not, really what I wanted to paint or something like that. So I haven't really picked that yet. So I've also had a couple of discussions with some people that took a very deep interest when I actually started explaining that this is what I'm going to do. I'm building my own Masters booster pack. I had one particular guy who may or may not jump into the stream eventually. His name is Hell for Gamers. And he had a lot of really good, interesting advice for me. And when I started explaining with this project that I'm working on, and he even offered to kind of assist me with some of it. And one of the things that he explained that I thought I really do want to try out after all is he actually suggested that I should make a account on eBay and then come up with a baseline price for my booster pack, which I have actually already done. And he said to actually auction it from that price going up. So that way, even though I have a bare minimum of the amount of money I want to sell this booster pack for, it could be possible that multiple people might want to bid for it and might actually make the price go up, which would be really nice. So just to give you guys an idea, because of the amount of work and effort that this is requiring me to do, and also because of the baseline price of my cards and my singles. Hey, what's up, Twinsy? Good to see you in here. I'm currently talking about the overall project that I'm working on right now. So basically what's going on is I'm building my very own personal Masters booster pack. That's why I'm painting 15 cards. So 15 cards, 15 alters. And it's going to be designed as a 15 card booster pack, and it will be my own personal masters, which for right now I'm calling Spicy Masters. And so because my cards, my singles are $50 a piece if you want an altar. But what I'm doing is I kind of decided that when I start selling this booster pack, when it's all done and put together, I'm going to be selling it for about $500 for the full pack. And which might sound really pricey, but if you think about it, if I'm doing $50 altars and there's 15 cards, that's actually much cheaper than paying for an individual card 15 times if you buy a commission from me. You're going to send a portfolio to WotC and say, commission me! Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd really want to work for Wizards of the Coast. If they were really taking an interest in my art and they just were like, here, we're going to give you money for your art, then maybe I might do that. But we'll see where we go from there. So, but yeah, so basically to wrap it up again, I'm working on a 15 card booster pack. I'm calling it Spicy Masters for right now. I do actually plan to try to find a way to wrap it up in a package that will look like an actual booster pack. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try my best to actually accomplish that, to give you the feeling that you own like an actual, booster pack of some sort. So I really want to make a really fun, authentic experience for anybody who is willing to pay me the money to do this. And I'm just going to work on it as is. And, whoever wants to buy it eventually will get their hands on it when it's ready. Another possible suggestion is that I might actually, if people start taking an interest in buying the booster pack and they start making me offers before it's done, I'm also willing to possibly say that part of the making of the booster pack will be you can commission me to do a particular rare or mythic rare that you want to see. And whoever the person who is buying the pack ends up buying it, I will go out of my way to get a hold of that rare or mythic rare, and I will paint it. I will have it be extended art like the rest of these, and that will be the rare or mythic rare within the Spicy Masters booster pack. And I actually kind of want to, depending on how well this goes, I really do kind of want to do like a series of them, like not necessarily back to back, but I definitely want to try this out, see how it goes, see how I like it, and then possibly plan to do another set of Spicy Masters in the future. Yes, I would be doing what I love, Wild Goat. I'm actually getting closer and closer every day to I'm getting closer and closer every day to following my dreams and becoming a full-time painter. And it's a very interesting process with many ups and downs, but I do feel like that it's actually really starting to come together nicely. I'm noticing that my subscriber count is going up very quick, which is really cool. And I mean, I love you guys for helping me out to get my subscriber count out and interesting other people in it. I also love the fact that multiple people, even though I haven't sold any commissions yet, I'm glad that there are multiple people who have shown an interest in doing so. So things are moving very fast, and I was actually not expecting them to move this fast. So this is really cool. Did you end up getting in that community art group? Not yet, Braden. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go. I ran into, this last week was very rough on me, and I had a lot of really stressful things going on this week that really messed with my flow of things, both my work as well as my hobbies. And I'm kind of just trying to deal with them one at a time as it goes along. And one of the things is that some of those problems that I've been dealing with might actually affect whether or not I get into the Painters Guild. So I mean, there's no conclusive word about it or anything like that. Like, I'm just saying that I don't know what the future holds for that particular situation. But I'm just keeping my hopes up. So yeah, so I just wanted to once again get the word out that that's the project I'm working on. I'm really glad you're all in here to hear me out about it. I'll probably talk about it a few more times across the stream, assuming that more and more people will jump in and be interested. They don't like tank tops and screw. Yes, of course. Okay, so I think I've blathered on about this project for a little bit. And what's actually really cool is this is the very last common of the 15 card booster pack I'm doing. So the next time you guys see me streaming, which I'm expecting to do another stream tomorrow, I'll be working on the very first uncommon in the pack. But until then, we're gonna focus on Burst Lightning today. So I'm gonna take a swig of water here. All right. So we're gonna jump into this Burst Lightning. Now we're going to be mixing my favorite color, which is brown, apparently. Not really my favorite color, but I feel like it's the color I use the absolute most. And there's a lot of brown and a lot of black, but I'm going to try and add some other things to kind of make the art more interesting. Because, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this particular art because I feel like that the art is very off from what the card is actually supposed to be. And I'm not sure why they decided. It could be one of those things, like, because we were talking the other day about repurposed art. And this is one of those cards where I would actually I would legitimately believe that this art for this card is actually repurposed art. Because it's, like, as we were talking about, what was it? The other card I did the other day. Strength in Numbers. And I had a couple of people mention that it looked like it was repurposed art, and I actually don't think that Strength in Numbers is actually repurposed art. I just think it was not. I think that the art wasn't repurposed. I just think that maybe it was kind of lost in translation. Like Wizards of the Coast had like a description that they wanted the artist to follow, and they had one idea of how it was going to look, and the artist decided to do it a completely different way. So I don't really think that it was repurposed, but Burst Lightning in particular catches me as an actual. I'm tapping down my yellow here because I'm at the very end of it. Burst Lightning really does touch me as being repurposed artwork because it's so off from what I feel like it was originally intended to be. Because I mean, there is lightning in the artwork, but it's so out of focus, and it's not the main point of view of what's happening. In fact, because like when I look at the artwork for Burst Lightning, it looks like that it was supposed to be like a spell that targets a land or something like that. Because it's the main focus in the artwork is this gigantic mountain pillar. And it just seems very much sorry, dog hair is everywhere. It's one of the prices of having a dog is dog hair everywhere. It's definitely it just seems like that it was maybe a spell that was designed to affect land or something. Because it's very weird to me. I really have no idea what the original purpose of the artwork for Burst Lightning was supposed to be. But I really don't think that it was supposed to be a burn spell. Because I just don't see it. I don't see it in the artwork. But yeah, so that's why I'm going to try and get a little creative with how it's done. So I'm going to, like I said, one of the things I really want to do with the Burst Lightning artwork is I want to add more lightning bolts into it. And it's I want to do it on the sides. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do it, but I figured since, it's kind of like it's a burst of lightning. Maybe, and they show at the top of the mountain area, like destroy target land, deal 3 damage to its owner. Yeah, possibly. That could have been what it might have been or something like that. And I mean, at common, like that probably was something that they couldn't do. But yeah, I definitely want to kind of make it look more like maybe like a chain reaction or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, because they do have the main focus of the lightning up at the top of the mountain, but I thought maybe it might be kind of cool to kind of show like a I don't know, like a streak of lightning bouncing off from the top of the mountain and then hitting down across the sides of the card or something like that to kind of make it look like it's one gigantic burst of lightning and it's going everywhere. So that's kind of the idea I have in mind for what I'm thinking so far. And I mean that's what you got to do when you get artwork that's kind of boring or weird or doesn't seem right. Like sometimes just adding, your own touches to it really can do the artwork a lot of favors and make it more intriguing for the person who is looking at it or something like that. Add a flyer getting zapped, Bird Rider or Dragon Rider. Yeah, that might be kind of cool. For anybody who's seen my my old Breath of Malphagor card altar that I did a long time ago, I actually added little people on the bottom of the card getting burned by the flames of Malphagor. And so maybe I'll do something like that. That might be kind of fun. I did notice that in the bottom corner of the actual Burst Lightning card, there's actually a small group of people just kind of wandering around. So maybe having the lightning strike down around them at their feet or something might be really kind of cool. This is right here. Right here is where those little people are. Glare's a little wonky, but let's see. There's some little people right down here. So maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of like have some lightning bolts coming off across the sides and then have one like flicker down and then like burst in a bunch of areas down here on the bottom. That might be really fun. So, the Moth Riders. Oh yeah, I remember the Moth Riders back in Kamigawa. Those were weird. They also had giant Moth Riders in Lorwyn too. They had like the little Kithkin were riding lots of moths, and they had like little night soldiers and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this brown up, and I'm going to go ahead and explain why I'm just going ahead and jumping right into this brown. Like, I'm not actually concerned about its color at all. And the reason why is because the mountainsides over here on this side of the card that I'm painting, they're very, very, very dark. And the way that I'm going to address that is black. Just lots of black. So this will probably be one of those pieces where I actually do get to use a large amount of black because that's just one of the prominent colors in this particular art piece. I might get a little fun with it later and add some like lightning as well on this side. Because I really do want to, like I said with the Burst Lightning, I kind of want to just throw lightning bolts everywhere, just to make it really cool and fun. So, I mean, I'm just going to stick to using the brown, covering it in black, and then I'll probably come back later and add bolts of lightning and things like that, just to really make it fun. But right now, we're just gonna work on that brown. And I'm also getting the impression that this piece will probably come together very quickly because there's the artwork is very simplistic. I'm not going to beat around the bush on it. Have to go. I don't think I'll be back by the end of the stream. Bye. All right, take it easy, Braden. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us for the amount of time you were here. Always much appreciated to have you here, dude. You take it easy, okay? But yeah, I kind of feel like that this overall artwork is I don't want to say uninspired because no piece of artwork is truly uninspired. Like, I mean, there are some that I would actually say that sometimes the really homogenized artwork can be really uninspired because they're trying so hard to follow a very particular style or set of rules. So I wouldn't say this is uninspired. It's just kind of, I guess maybe the proper way is just to go ahead and say it's dull, But once again, that's why we're here, to make it less dull. But, so I don't think it's going to take me an extreme amount of intense work. Like, for example, like the what is it? The Kami of Lost Hope, which took me like 4 hours to work on. But it'll probably take a decent amount. But I'm still happy to work on this piece. Like, don't get me wrong. I really do want to work on it and make it look nice. Because, I mean, that's the best I can do, is I can just work with what I got and make it look as nice as I possibly can, and make it look like something that somebody would actually want to have available for them to actually play with. So I'm just getting very crazy with this brown. I'm throwing it all over the place. I am going to bring it all the way down to the bottom. And I'm probably going to loop it all the way all around this card, probably up to about here is my guess. So lots of brown. Lots of brown is happening in this one. But I do have to say, I am actually really excited to get into the uncommon cards tomorrow. I get to, well, I mean, unless something weird happens and I won't be able to stream tomorrow. I was actually worried that I might have not been able to stream today, to be honest, but I made it happen. Like I said, my life has been kind of really chaotic recently. So having to be able to have time to do these streams has been a lot of up in the air stuff. As you guys know, for anybody who's actually on the Discord and paying attention to the messages that I've been sending out, I had 2 days where I really wanted to stream, but things just did not work out. One day I was really not feeling well and decided, like, you know, even though I could have fought through my not feeling very good and done a stream anyways, I think that I would have been kind of a downer. You aren't able to stream today. Trust me, I am watching you try. Okay. All right, fine. I'm not able to stream today. I'm sorry that I'm not up to your extremely high quality streams over there, Mr. Bruce Hatcher. I'm glad to have you in here, man. Good to see you, dude. But yeah, I just kind of have been struggling to make sure that I have a good amount of time and ability to do these streams. And it really sucks because before I actually had started streaming, I actually had a lot of free time. And I just was being ridiculous and not capitalizing on that free time to, you know, start getting into this stuff. I was really nervous about trying to start these streams and stuff like that. So that was kind of just me being ridiculous and having all this free time and not utilizing it properly. And now that I've actually decided to, you know, make the leap and start actually streaming, I'm finding that it's being much, much harder for me to actually be consistent with my streams because of everything that's happening right now. I'm not staying, letting you riffraff like Serta in here. I do not trust that guy. Okay. Well, I'll make sure that that he's very aware that you don't trust him in the least. I'm sure he'll have some very interesting things to say about that. Yeah, I now that I've actually decided to be into these streams and such, I'm finding it harder to maintain it because I've been going through a pretty chaotic period in my life right now, and it really sucks because I'm having to I'll be honest, I'm not really comfortable with explaining all the details right now, but based on how things work out, I might explain a bit more later. But right now, I'm just kind of keeping to myself about what's going on. But basically, I'm just, you know, having a lot of trouble getting things organized in my life at the moment, and I'm doing everything I can to make everything go back to normal how it was before. And consistency is difficult, my man. It's not easy to stick to a schedule. Don't let it bother you and just have fun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bruce Hatcher. I really appreciate hearing you say that, man. It makes me feel a lot better and makes me feel like that I'm still headed in the right direction, even though it's getting pretty tough. But like I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep on doing this. And I have yet, like, I mean, obviously I haven't been doing this long enough, but I have yet to do a stream where I honestly felt like I didn't have fun. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep on working on this and putting out as much content as I can possibly get away with until I legitimately feel like it's not fun anymore. And I mean, I'm really hoping I'll never get to that point. But, you know, if that happens, then, you know, sure enough, I'll be out of it. But I kind of doubt it. I'm really enjoying myself, and I can see myself doing this very often and as much as I can possibly get away with. And, you know, it's really cool because I have actually noticed that a lot of good things have come out of me starting doing these streams. I hate streaming personally. I find it to be dreadful. I'm still waiting to have a fun stream. I am so jealous of you. Oh, stop it. You haven't. Dude, last night's stream was amazing. You can't honestly tell me that you did not have a great time last night. That shit was hilarious last night. I was kind of brooding and stuff. Like, I mean, I went into Cinder's stream to kind of get my spirits up. And like I said, like, you were in there and you saw me and chatting and stuff. And it did bring up my spirits, but I was still really kind of down. And yeah, dude, last night's stream was amazing. It was amazing. So many new people, and they were all really cool. I like that. I'm so glad that we had so many new cool people in last night. Um, but yeah, I was kind of in a shitty mood yesterday because I had a lot of bad stuff happen to me yesterday, and being in Cinder Stream helped me out a lot. But I'll admit that even with that, I was still kind of in a not so great mood. And going into your stream and letting that being the final note of the night for me really brought me my spirits up, man. It really laid it on thick for me. So having both you and Cinder there to like kind of get me through that really not so great feeling period of time just really helped me out a lot. And another thing too is I actually went and hung out with one of my best friends today, just to have a chat with her because I haven't seen her in a while. And I was kind of telling her about all the stuff I was going through and having to deal with, and she gave me some really good advice. And one of the things that she told me, because I actually filled her in on all the stuff that God damn it, Go. Why are you so negative, man? You're such a negative Nancy. But I was hanging out with one of my best friends today, and she was telling me, like, I told her about all the stuff I've been working on, all the painting and the streaming and things like that. And she basically told me that she, based on what I was telling her and what I was doing and how I was handling it and going through it all, God, some people just have the most annoying squeaky cars, I swear to God. When I was telling her all about it, she was basically saying, like, I think that doing this streaming stuff and getting really into your artwork is really healthy for you, and you need to keep pursuing it. And she said, and like, don't let all this other stuff stop you or slow you down from doing this stuff, because it sounds like that, not only is it making, like, not only are you enjoying yourself and possibly even beginning to, make money from it, but also that it's a positive impact on your life and it's going to take you places. I know, right? It sounded like a steam kettle. I mean, good God. So ridiculous. Like, some of the people, like, one of the worst things ever is that sometimes there's this one car alarm that will go off at, like, ridiculous times of, like, the night and the early morning. Hey, Richard Lash, good to see you in here, Mr. Slivercool. I'm working on a Burst Lightning today, just kind of kicking it, hanging out, painting up a storm. Yeah, there's this guy who has like a car alarm that goes off sometimes in the middle of the night or like early in the morning. And it'll just sometimes, like, not all the time, but like sometimes it'll just go for hours and you're just like, oh my God, I want to go down there and slash your tires, dude. Like, do something about this. You drive me nuts. Oh, man. Well, whatever. It seems like that annoying car is gone for now, so I'm sure I'll have to listen to it later on when it comes back, but whatever, I'm just going to ignore it. But yeah, I think that that doing these streams and getting into more painting and being more consistent with it is really having a very strong like positive impact on my life, and it's really looking like that this is something that I can do more of as time goes on, and make a future out of it, and possibly a painting career, which I kind of figured out is what I really want to do. I mean, I still love cooking, but I don't think that I want to keep cooking as I am for the rest of my life. Like, I want to move up from that. And I think that this is where I want to be. I want to paint, and I want to entertain people while I paint. And also another thing is if I can, inspire people, which to paint themselves, that's even better. Like, I mean, I love that feeling. I love the feeling that there are people who come to me, like, after my streams like, you know, people like Braden and stuff like that. And they're like, hey, like, I just want to let you know, like, I just went to the store and I bought a new set of paints and you inspired me to start painting. And I'm like, wow, like, that's so cool, man. Like, I love that. Like, I hope that, you know, everybody can kind of get their own thing out of this. And, you know, if even if that's not necessarily painting, like, I mean, if they can just come in here and see, you know, how I'm talking about painting and the stuff that I love about it and why it inspires me to paint and stuff like that. And then they go out and they do their own thing because they want to feel that inspired as well. Like, that's awesome, man. Like, that's so cool. I do like that. A lot of people painting themselves on Twitch paint up them titties. Oh God! So whenever I think of people who are body painting, I think of that hilarious what's that one thought called? Zombie Unicorn. Have you seen the one where she tries to paint herself like Velma? Dude, it looks like she just laid bacon out on her boobs. Like every time I see her with that awful ugly paint on her chest, I'm just like, oh, it's bacon tits. I'd throw her in a frying pan and put her on top of my eggs. Oh God. Friggin' bacon tits. It's so ridiculous. She's so lazy with her work. K Park is incredible, though. She has genuine. Well, that's cool. Like, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I would never hate on the actual process of body painting because, I mean, like, that's just another form of being like a makeup artist, you know, like, and like a lot of Hollywood quality makeup artists are very talented people, especially like the people who do like, you know, zombie painting and stuff like that, like for like Walking Dead and things like that. Like, that's some impressive stuff, you know, like. I can totally get down and respect people that do stuff like that. But I mean, friggin' bacon boobs, man. It's just, there's nothing about that that's like, no way. Like, get out of here. Come on. Like, or like, at the least you could do, like, the very least you could do is just be, like, get better. Like, just get better. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. I mean, you know, my painting process is always like a constant, you know, constant improvement and such like that. Like, you know, I'm always learning new things and such, but man, that bacon boobs thing, that was so absolutely uninspired. I just couldn't believe it. It was ridiculous. Oh man. I don't have to pretend. Oh, I fucked with the camera. All right, let's fix it. Totally professional camera work here. Oh, Richard. You silly, misguided little man. Oh, man, it's all good. I still love having you in here, dude. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I really do love it. I love painting, and I love other people who are also very good at painting. And there's a lot of artists that I still follow that have like amazing talent with painting and things like that I really want to kind of emulate. I don't think replicating is the right word, but I definitely want to learn more techniques and improve my overall method with how I do things, because that would be, you know, anytime I can get a little bit better at what I'm doing and just improve the overall quality of what I'm working on, like that is just an overall feels good feeling, like all the time. And like, you know, it's not like that, you know, I feel like that I'm like bad at what I'm doing or anything like that. It's just that I always want to learn more and I want to make my techniques better. And, you know, I just want to constantly improve. Like that's what I want to do. I just want to get better and better and better. And the only way I can do that is by just continue to paint as much as I can, and also continue to look over other artists and watch how they paint and do their work. and try to take as much as I can out of it each time. And yeah, I just think that it's the right path for me. I really do feel like that this is just what I want to do, and I like that feeling, you know. And yeah, I mean, I definitely want to like get into more, because like here's the thing is like I'm definitely working on Magic cards right now, and I'm working on I am doing this project. Since Mike, since you were in Cinder Stream, I don't know if you heard my great reveal of what I'm working on. So you know, if you haven't heard about it, let me kind of talk about it a little bit more. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm making my own personal Masters booster pack. Yeah, I am. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm working on. And I just kind of want to do my own form of Masters, you know? And so I'm picking cards that I think are really powerful and strong, that people would actually enjoy playing with, because that's the purpose of this, is they're supposed to be played with. And I'm just altering them so that they look really nice and very interesting and very cool. And then I'm planning to find a way to set up a of course, you got to keep us in line, right? You know, keep that pimp hand strong. Of course. But yeah, I really want to make my own Masters booster pack. And I even have this great overall plan to try to like actually make a proper like booster pack wrapper. And I don't really know exactly how to do it yet. I've actually had some interesting suggestions from a few different people. Somebody, I think it was Braden, who was telling me that they actually have like cellophane sealers online. So that's something that I might actually invest some money into to try and do this. And because I really just want to make it look really nice and high quality. I want the person who buys it to actually feel like that they just went out and they bought like their own, like they went out and bought a proper booster pack. And like I want the idea that they can like crack it open when they feel like it, whether they do or not. I don't know. They might, you know, never want to open it ever, but you know, I want them to have that feeling you get when you actually hold a booster pack in your hands and you crack it open and you're excited to like flip through all the cards and see what you got. You know, I really want, you know, somebody to have that experience with my own cards. And so that's basically what I'm striving for. And I do think that I might do multiple. Like this is obviously the very first one, and I'm going to put a lot of work into it, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error, but I really want to make it work. And I just think it would be really fun. Like that's what I really want to do. I want to really provide that experience. And I was even talking with Hell for Gamers last night, who came up with this really cool idea that I thought was really smart. I would have never thought of it on my own. I was glad that he had brought it up to me. And that was that he thought that I should make an eBay account and basically start an auction. And my goal is to have a starting price of about $500 for the single Spicy Masters booster pack. And he said I should put it up for auction for $500 and then just start letting people bid on it. And, you know, if somebody buys it for the 500 and that's it, then that's great because I'll have made the price that I want to sell it for. But he said that there's also the possible option that there are multiple people who would be very interested in it, who might want to pay more for it or have a better chance at acquiring it. And I was like, that's a really great idea that I would have never thought of. So I think that's what I'm going to go for, is I'm going to have to probably build up an eBay account because I've never done that before. We'll just have to see where it goes from there, because I think it could be very, very interesting to do. And it might even give me like something that I can do on a regular basis and have lots of fun. Like I'll be constantly trying to do every single card I do on stream, so that, and I think that's also a cool option too, is because he also said that what's really good about the fact that I'm doing all of these on stream is that for anybody that would buy it and would want to keep it as like a collector's item that you would never open, they have these streams to like look back on in the past, so that they can actually see and know what cards are in there. So that way they can still have the experience of having enjoyed each individual card without ever having to even open it in the first place. And I just think it's going to be cool. Like, I'm really excited to get this all together, and I'm having a lot of fun with just doing each stream one at a time. And it's I like it. I like it, and I do actually plan on doing other stuff too. Like, I mean, I'm focused on this project, and I do also want to do some special kinds of singles. Like, I want to do a few custom alters where I'll just take a card and just paint over the whole thing, and then kind of, well, I mean, depending on what it is, I might just do like a text box like this, but I might paint over all of the art and such, and then add in my own art for it, to be interesting or add intrigue, or just an altered art that's different from the normal stuff. And so I do want to do some of those. And I also want to go back and do some more land altering, because I haven't done any actual land alters in quite some time since I started working on this project. So kind of going backwards and doing some of that would also be very nice. And I want to do that. And I've also kind of, by the way, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second to show my palette so you guys can see what I'm working on. I'm actually in the process of making another brown. I'm just basically taking my darker brown, and I brought a spot over it of it over here, and I'm adding in some white to kind of lighten up the color, because I'm kind of getting a little higher up into the art where the brown is still very apparent, but it's also not as dark. So I just want to make a lighter color. This particular shade that I've got set up here, it's not bright enough, so I'm going to add some more white. But anyways, besides the fact that I'm doing all these magic cards and I have like all these interesting ideas, like I want to do some lands and I want to do some custom altars and things like that. But I also want to do other stuff besides magic cards. And one of the things that I really am interested in doing is I want to, first of all, I do actually have an interest in doing canvas paintings. So that's something I really want to work on as well. Is I actually want to set up my easel, because I do actually have a proper painter's easel. And I want to do some real canvas art, because I want to show that I can, do things other than magic cards with real paintbrushes, and maybe a more larger scale of color, and just some more interesting techniques involved with larger swabs of paint and brushes and things like that. The other thing I want to do is I also want to do painting of things like, for example, I actually have a collection of really old Pokemon cards, and I thought it might be really fun to just kind of grab a couple of Pokemon cards and alter those as well. Why not? I have a very teeny tiny collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards too, so maybe I'll alter some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't care. They're not worth anything, so why not paint them up? And there was something else I really wanted to paint. I'm trying to remember what it was. I actually, one of the things is that that was kind of sad to me is I can't, for very obvious reasons, I can't paint Force of Will cards. I really wish I could. But what's really cool about Force of Will, and I got to give them a lot of credit for this, all their cards are already extended art. Like, you don't need to paint those things up. The artwork is done. It's all right there in front of your face. And I really respect that. I love the fact that, like, Force of Will is one of those, oh, what am I doing? I'm lightening up the wrong thing. God, I am just slipping. Well, whatever. What's done is done. I got so distracted with what I was talking about that I was mixing all my white into the wrong color. I was doing it into a brown, but I put it in the wrong brown. But I also want to do... Oh, what I was going to say was I'm really proud of Force of Will for being one of the only card games that I feel like actually do full-blown extensions of art. Like it's like they actually, really kind of respect the art itself, and they really want to actually, make that a thing. They want to focus on the artwork and things like that, which is really cool. I wish they could work a little bit on their flavor, but their flavor text is a little bit ridiculous and out there. But that's just a very teeny tiny nitpick. But I definitely can give them a lot of credit for what they're willing to do with the art. That's very nice. Okay, so I'm going to bring this card back up, and we're going to work on it some more. And I'm basically going to lay down this brown, and I'm just going to put it right here. And it looks like it's got very close to the right shade that I want. I might have to change up the color. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of yellow might help. But for the darker parts, it'll be really easy because all I have to do is add the black. And that will actually give me the more darker shades and such. So yeah, I really am interested in trying to paint a large variety of collectibles besides just magic cards. And what's really nice is that I want to do that. Besides the fact that I think I would really enjoy it, I also think that it would also, in the process, apply what I'm doing to a wider spectrum of people. It'll give people who like Pokemon a chance to come over and check out what I'm doing, and it'll give people who like Yu-Gi-Oh! A chance to come over and check out what I'm doing. And I don't know. I've had a couple of people tell me that they think they would like to see me work on some like D&D figures and things like that. And I think that I might be interested in trying that out. I've never painted a miniature before, ever. So I don't know. I don't really exactly know like what that's going to be like. But I'm willing to try it. I'd even be willing to try it for the first time on stream, like just to kind of see what I can get away with. I was going to apply some black, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to all right, I think I'm going to actually go for a layer of yellow first, and then go over with some more brown, and then add in some white down here. And then probably start adding in some black areas for the clouds and such. So let me go ahead and work on that a little bit. Oh, well, that's the wrong color. That's not the one I wanted. Okay. So dipping into some yellow here. There we go. And let's just kind of see where this yellow is going to take us. I don't really know how it's gonna. Oh, that looks really nice. Okay, I'm cool with that. I like that. That looks pretty nice. That's a pretty good shade that I got going there. Okay, cool. And I don't have to take that down very far. I think what I might do actually is maybe what I'll do is I'll do just a little bit more yellow, and I will just kind of mist it down a little bit so that it can kind of fade off just a little bit, very, very lightly. And I'll kind of put it in a few other spots around here as well, just very light. There we go. I like that. That looks nice. I'm actually going to go back into my brown, and time to get ready for D&D later. All right, see ya, Richard. You take it easy. Have a great D&D match, bro. You take it easy. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my brown again. And I'm just going to go ahead and start applying it up here at the top, like so. And this is going to be for the cloud cover, but I'm going to change the coloration on it a few different times. I'm definitely going to be applying some yellow coloration, and then there's going to be some black shading as well. The actual brown that I'm using, it's the lighter shade of brown, obviously. But I'm not going to take it too far up this area, because I noticed that it gets much lighter and darker simultaneously and less of the brown color. So I only just want a little bit of this brown to kind of go over in this direction, and I'm just going to kind of fade it off right about here. I think this is about right about there is where I want it to stop, I think. So I'm just going to keep on applying it here. So that way it's still got that proper brown coloration where it's supposed to be. And I'm just going to kind of fade it down just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit, if it'll cooperate. Seems like it's a little rough with me, but there we go. That's kind of how I want it. And now I'm going to actually dip into my yellow again. And I'm going to do a layer of yellow all along this grayish area right here, as well as up into the brown. And that way we can get this kind of color again, but it's not going to stay that way because that's the color for the mountains, but the clouds kind of have a little bit of a different coloration. So we're going to kind of tweak that as we go along. So I'll start with the yellow here. Ooh, lost my napkin. Okay, there we go. Got it back. And I'm going to just go ahead and get that yellow going again. And carefully just kind of add it in. And I'm going to fade it down onto the sides here because I know that that is the right color I need for this area of the cloud work right over here. And just kind of applying it all over the brown areas, all along this area right here, up to the sides. And then also I need to dip again. There we go. And just kind of spread it out all along here. Like so. There, that looks nice. And now I'm actually going to go in for some more yellow. And I'm going to basically spread it all out across this bar up at the top. Just all yellow. And I am comfortable with the fact that it's going to look really weird at first. But once I start adding in the various shades of black and such, it's going to look a lot better. So we're just going to start here. And we're just going to kind of apply it all along this side, just like so. And I am kind of swiping it over into the brown as well so that it meshes better. And bringing it alongside here. And then bringing it down all across this area, which is where the mountain on this side starts. So it just kind of meshes right along there. There we go. That's very nice. And now we're going to probably bring in some black now. I was debating whether or not I should go over a little bit with brown, but I really don't think that's going to help it very much because I think the black is going to darken it just enough without completely covering it in black. And it's going to be able to do just enough work where the yellow is going to still see through, but at the same time, it's going to kind of give it a almost brownish color, but only like a golden brown almost, I would say. So let me just very lightly kind of bring it in, just like that. And we're trying to be very light with it because we don't want it to totally, completely, blacken the yellow. We don't want that. So we're just kind of meshing it along the sides here. Just like that. And like I said, it's kind of a combination of shading as well as the misting effect that I love so much. And I'm going to dip into some more black and fade it out on my palette. God, it's starting to get so hot in my room. It's just really weird. It's like really muggy where I'm at. We've been having like hot rain showers all day today. So it's like it's really hot and muggy out, but it's like raining. But the rain is not refreshing. It's just warm itself. So it's just like you can't run around in the rain and get comfortable because the rain itself is also pretty hot. And it's just like a moist, hot temperature in my room, and it's driving me absolutely insane. Luckily, I have a lot of water here at my side, so you'll probably hear me slurping on my water every once in a while. So I'm just, continuing to add the black. And it is giving me that kind of golden shade that I want. And we will actually probably play with a little bit more of the black in general because some of the clouds are darker in some areas more than others. And I really just kind of want to really make it look like that those clouds are there. So it's kind of, once again, I'm just right now focusing on that goldish, blackish yellow color going on. I'm also going to dip for some more black, And now we're also going to apply the black alongside this corner so that it looks a little less brown and kind of weird. So we'll just kind of be working on it as a misting effect, working on it in streaks. Let me check something really quick. Aha, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. I was wondering why it was getting a little weird over here on my web browser. My web browser has been very weird ever since I started doing these streams. It just seems like it's like every time I have a stream going up, it's like as if some of the web pages kind of get all weird and start reloading and refreshing themselves over and over again. I don't really know why they do that. But I feel like it has something to do with like the bandwidth of the stream or something. I'm not totally sure. And like what's really annoying is sometimes like some of the pages that I have up will have what is it? Some advertisement on them after they get refreshed, and then you'll hear like a really loud blip of sound suddenly pop up. And I'm just starting to wonder if maybe what I need to do is just have all web pages shut down except for YouTube. I've had a couple of people tell me that I probably need to start using OBS because I'm actually using the YouTube Studio when I do this stuff. So it's very different, and I don't really know how to use OBS yet. I've kind of messed around with it a little tiny bit, but I haven't really done anything productive with it. So I kind of just need to teach myself how that works, and I feel like that'll probably come with time, and I feel like if I can get a better handle on how OBS functions, I might actually be able to start making real, actual video content, rather than just streams all the time, because I do kind of want to do that. All right, I'm just kind of adding a slightly darker shade of black, and I just want to kind of spread it out in various different areas. And the idea is that I'm trying to make it look like that there are these really dark, ominous looking clouds in the background to properly represent the clouds in the main artwork over here. And I will be probably adding some more yellow and most likely definitely white. I am going to need white for the lightning bolts and such. So I kind of want to do some interesting what's the word? I want to do some interesting work with the actual lightning bolts around the sides as well to make it suit the artwork better towards what it is supposed to be. Because I was talking about it earlier. It's out of my jurisdiction. All right. That's all right. I do kind of want to add some more lightning bolts and such to the artwork, because I feel like that the artwork is kind of off in this particular piece, and I really want to kind of, I don't know, make it look more appropriate to what it is, I guess I would say. So, I feel like that the best way to do that would be to add some lightning bolts into the artwork as well. That might be a little bit more fun. So yeah, I added a little bit of white over here just to kind of link up the rest of the sky along the side. And I also kind of am seeing it's actually a lot more clear on the camera than it is on the card here. I kind of want to add some streaks of yellow into this mountainside just to make it more rigid looking, if you know what I mean. Just to make it look like there's actual proper like cliff sides and ridges and things like that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow, and I'm just going to kind of add it in little tiny bits and pieces here and there. I'm thinking maybe I need to work on a like a lighter. No, you know what? Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry for anybody who couldn't see that because it was off camera. I took my paintbrush. Normally I wet my paintbrush and then I wrap it in my napkin to get the color off. I just didn't even dip my paintbrush. I just stuck my colored paintbrush into the napkin and just totally smeared paint all over it. But whatever. Okay. So I'm going to get paint on my finger, apparently. And get off of my finger, please. Thank you very much. Well, whatever. I'm actually going to take some white, and I'm going to carefully add some like streaks in here on the sides, just kind of all around the little area. And what my plan is that if I add these streaks in just right, I can get kind of some more rigid appearances to the mountain. And what I'll do is I'll actually go over it with a little bit of some yellow first, and then depending on how the yellow works, I might cover it in brown or I might leave it as it is. So this is just to kind of, just to give it a little bit more detail to it. That's all it is. Because I like adding details here and there where I can get away with. So I'm rubbing off my paintbrush again. And now I'm going to go for some yellow. Just a very light coating of yellow. And I'm just going to kind of add it in very carefully along these sides here. And I am thinking that it is probably going to need some brown, which I had a feeling that it might be that way, but I wanted to test it first just in case. So let me go for the brown again. And let's get some of that light brown that I got going. I made a lot of it by accident, but that's okay because apparently light brown is the color of the day. So I'm just kind of adding in that brown again. And I'm just trying to go over only the yellow streaks. And what's really nice is that the yellow streaks that I've made kind of make the light brown stand out more from the rest of it, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. That'll kind of make it look like that there are, in fact, little ridges all along the little mountainside that I've created here. And they just kind of barely stand out, which is good. Because I don't want them to be in your face. I want them to be kind of like these ones where like they're very faded and way in the background. So that's what I was doing with that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to further focus on, I'm going to further focus on adding some more of this brown color, the light brown that I've been using. And I'm going to kind of just really push it in on this side just to make sure that it is the right shading. And I'm seeing that it's just meshing in and you can't really see a difference. So since I know that, what I am going to do is I'm now going to dip my brush again, and I'm actually going to go for the darker brown color that I have available to me, which I made by accident. Both of my brown colors have been made the way that they are completely by accident because I decided to mix my colors very weirdly. I wasn't paying attention while I was talking, so that caused me to kind of make some weird coloration changes on both of my brown colors, which was not what I wanted, but that's how it ended up being. So I'm just kind of adding that in, and I'm going to kind of curve it up just a little bit and curve it around like that just a little bit to for the purpose of kind of making it look like it is part of this rock slab that these characters are working on. You can kind of see how I've defined it a little bit. You can see the lighter brown contrasted against the darker brown. So I'm going to keep adding this darker brown color down, down, down. And I'm also going to bring in some black to shade that new shade of brown that I've put in. All right. Grabbing some, well, actually, let me take a swig of water because I am sweating like crazy and my mouth is getting dry. Ah, so good. Water's so good. Love the water. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go for my black. And I'm just going to kind of rub it off just a little bit. And, oh, I hope that's enough. Let's see. Oh, that's actually pretty good. It looks like my brown is still a little wet, so I might need to let it sit a bit longer just because it's so wet right there. And I'm just going to kind of bring it down just a little bit anyways. And you know what? Since I feel like I need to kind of let that sit for a little bit because my brush was really wet when I dipped it into my paint. And so that kind of added a lot of moisture to the painting in that one particular section. So I'm just going to kind of let it sit for a minute, and I'm going to move over to a different side. I'm going to kind of try to work on this area up here now while I'm waiting for that area to dry. And the way that I'm going to handle it is I'm actually going to bring in my yellow again. And I'm going to do kind of a mixture of yellow and white. Not the paint. Oops, sorry. Not the actual paint itself. Like I'm not mixing white and yellow together. What I'm doing is I'm going to first kind of just bring in the yellow as it is. And I'm noticing that because of the black shading, it's absorbing that yellow color, which means it makes it harder and harder to see. So the way that I'm going to handle that is now I'm going to bring in my white color in just a second. I'm first going to kind of spread this out a bit, just like that. Just make sure it's got a good covering. And then I'm going to add in the white. And then after I add in the white, I'm going to add a shade of yellow to it. So just going to go ahead and grab some of this white. And I'm going to just kind of lay it over. Just like that. And what's really nice is because I did just now put in a layer of yellow, which you couldn't see originally. But now that I've added in this white color, it's actually it's taking that yellow color and it's absorbing it and making it stand out that much better. And that was my goal when I was adding in the white. Because I knew that I did have enough yellow there. It just wasn't able to be seen because of all the black coloration. And what's really cool about this particular effect is that it actually makes it look like it blends in with the whitish yellowish clouds in the actual artwork. So I'm just kind of trying to spread that out just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. It's looking pretty nice. Oh, make sure it's back in frame. There we go. So yeah, that's kind of got that nice little effect to it. And I think maybe adding just a little bit more white will help it out all the more. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit more white. And this is, like I said, like you just kind of want to spread it out. Really spread it out. There we go. Yeah, so that's definitely looking a lot closer to that area down on the bottom where the clouds are with all the light and such like that. And we will be adding in the lightning bolts in a little bit. I don't want to do that right this second. So I'm just going to let that sit the way that it is right now. Just kind of make sure that, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, all right, I like it. So now I'm going to go back to the area I was working on before, but the problem is that it was too wet, so I decided to kind of like take a break from it. And I'm actually going to add in some black coloration now. And this is like, once again, that whole thing where I don't want to color it black, I just want to shade it black. So we're just going to kind of very carefully add in this black shading color that I've got going on here. And it seems like I'm having that same problem again where I just made it way too wet. And let me see if I can fix that, because that's driving me nuts. I'm thinking that maybe what happened was I put a whole bunch of water inside my black paint, and that's what's causing that to happen. So this time I'm going to kind of add a little bit more black, but I'm trying desperately to make sure that my paintbrush is not too wet. Let's see if I can kind of make that work a bit better. Oh, see, that looks a bit nicer. Okay, I can work with that. That's fine. That was starting to drive me nuts because I was like, why is this like causing this to be this way? This is not good. Okay, so now I'm just kind of extending it out a little bit. Looks much nicer, much closer to how it should be. And let's see. Now I think I'm going to go back up to the sky again, and I'm going to start adding in those lightning bolts, because I really want to get those lightning bolts going here. Because I'm going to have a lot of fun with these lightning bolts. I'm pretty excited to work on them. Because that should be the main focus of this art piece. And very clearly it's not, but it should be. So I'm going to make it the focus of this art piece. So first I'm going to kind of start right here. And I'm thinking I'm going to have to add some more white. Because I don't think that my white is strong enough anymore. I went through all my white already. That's the thing is, white is the color that I run out of the most frequently, and I use a lot of it. Like almost in every single painting I ever do, I probably use more white than anything else because it's used for like shading and things like that, and getting certain colors to be just the right color. So like I go through a lot of white. So yeah, let me. I got a fresh dab of paint here. Let me go ahead and dip my brush, and we'll get some more lightning bolts going on here. Okay, so now let's kind of work on this one. What I'm doing is I'm actually pinpointing where it is, and then following that up alongside the card. And then once I think I have like the right idea of where it ends on the card, that's where I start painting. And I'm just kind of like trying to make them look all jagged and interesting. Let me dip a little bit more. Okay. And this one, ooh, hold on a second. I gotta be very careful with the amount of paint that's actually on my brush because sometimes if I have too much, it'll just make a big, gigantic mess that I don't want. There, that looks really cool. I like it. So I got some small little lightning bolts going on there that look a lot more natural to the card. And I'm going to just keep on doing this process. And what's going to be really fun is I'm actually going to try to add lightning bolts soon. So that'll make it really fun to mess around with. One of the things that I really want to do is to kind of like make it so that it looks like that there are literally bursts of lightning like going off in all sorts of different directions and stuff. So I really want to add that effect. And the way to start with that is to first get these ones done. But then I'm going to start adding some over on the sides here and then having them like slam down on like little areas right over here. Like there's a little group of people over here, and I really want like a lightning bolt to just kind of smash down right into these little dudes down here. That would look really awesome. So that's what I'm going to try and do. All right. And that way it's like, oh, well, the lightning's up here, but it's also here, and maybe I'll even go as far as to bring some all the way down here. Who knows? I'm going to get a little crazy with it. I like it. I like the crazy stuff. Crazy stuff is fun. All right, so I'm following this lightning bolt up. I'm just going to kind of like add that right there and then kind of turn it around. And I'm going to put another one right next to it because I know that those ones are very, very close. And kind of add that in there like that. God, it's starting to look so cool. I like the little lightning bolts. It's like, it's amazing to me how like little teeny tiny streaks of white can make all the difference. Like, it's like, oh, like now that you've actually gotten the lightning bolts in there, it looks like there's like all this activity happening, you know? It looks like it's alive and it's like threatening and messing stuff up, and so fun. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of bring this one up around here, and I'm going to kind of actually curve it around like so, and then up into the sky like that. And then there's this really big one over here, which is really cool. I like the fact that it's so big. That. And maybe it would be kind of cool also if there was like another smaller lightning bolt kind of shooting off from that bigger one, you know? So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make them kind of connect right there. Very... Okay, my brush is getting a little wonky here. Hold on a second. Okay, let me just kind of... There we go. Okay, that'll probably work better. Just kind of very carefully. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Oh man, love it. Okay. So now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to keep working on these lightning bolts. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to place them. That's the tricky part here. I'm going to kind of shoot this one off to the side like so. There we go. Yeah. Make it look like it's like chaining all over the place, right? Okay. Let's see here. How else am I going to set this up? I guess maybe kind of adding a bunch of really teeny tiny bolts might really help too. Kind of debating whether or not I want to pull out my detail brush. I want to kind of like try to work with this one, but at the same time, it's like I feel like I can get so much more work done if I pull out the detail brush. Let me grab that real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and take the leap and whip out the detail brush and start making lightning bolts with the detail brush because I think that's going to really get the job done for this. Teeny tiny detail brush. Look at that pinpoint. Very, very tiny. All right. Here we go. Going to go ahead and dip it. Wipe it off a little bit. Okay. Put in some white. Okay, here we go. Teeny tiny detail brush. Okay. Sorry, I just had to get a little quiet there because I was like really focusing on what I was doing. It's just very tough because it's like sometimes it looks right and sometimes it looks weird, so I really kind of want to make sure that it's like doing what I want it to do. There we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. Not 100% sure about that yet. It looks kind of weird to me. It looks a little weird to me. Hey, Helfer Gamers, how's it going? Working on a burst lightning today. How you doing? I think I'm going to try to kind of change up some of these lightning bolts here. They got a little weird on me. So let's kind of change that up a little bit. There. That's starting to look a little bit better. I'm just trying to kind of darken it because some of those lightning bolts started like not doing what I wanted them to do. So I'm kind of like trying to put them back in their place by darkening the shade of everything. There we go. I'm also noticing some other things too. Oh, excuse me. I almost feel like that when I was using the other brush, when I was using the slightly bigger brush, I feel like I got a better effect out of it for the lightning bolts almost. So I'm just kind of trying to wet the brush, and I'm going to try for some more lightning bolts in a different area. Let's see if I can get some done over here. Kind of shoot it off into this area. Just like that. And yeah. That looks a lot nicer, actually. I think it was the frequency in which I was painting the lightning bolts that kind of made it look really weird. So I feel like if I just kind of do it in sets of small streaks, rather than in like these weird like charges that I did on the other side, I think it'll just come out looking nicer if I handle it that way. So I'm going to just add some more white to try and get those lightning bolts to be a little more connected. Let's see here. Just kind of nice and carefully. There we go. And like that. I'm sorry, I'm once again like, when I really get into these teeny tiny details, I like practically like hold my breath sometimes. Because it's like, I feel like I'm concentrating so hard to make sure that it looks right. Like when I'm using like the slightly bigger brush, I don't focus as hard. But like when it's this teeny tiny one, I feel like I really have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So I get a little quiet sometimes. I just want this to look right. You know what I mean? So I'll be kind of sad if it doesn't look exactly how I want it to look. You know? So yeah. Let me see if I can get a little bit more paint going on here. Okay. Filled out that new email response request Q&A from Wizards of the Coast. Oh, I didn't even know they were doing something like that. What was it all about? Was it worth your time? Is probably the better question. Okay, so I'm actually going to try and fill these guys out just a little bit better. Really make this one main bolt really apparent and clear to everybody who might be seeing it. Here we go. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on working on these lightning bolts. I like them. They're really looking good to me. Maybe I should make like one really long one on this one side to really kind of hit down on this one area. And then it explodes right here like crazy. I want it to like actually like scare these like people over here on the bottom corner here. I want them to be like, oh my god, it's lightning everywhere! Who did this? Why is this happening? Let's see. I think I typed out a book worth of feedback and spent a solid hour giving them an honest, polite response. I don't know, Hell for Gamers. I mean, I feel like you might have like spent a lot of work to write something that they might just end up throwing away. As a general, what do you play? How often? How much do you spend? What do you like about blank? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just don't trust that stuff anymore. Like, I mean, you know, I think you know my general feeling about that kind of stuff at this point when it comes to trying to give them feedback and stuff like that. There we go. Yeah, that's a serious lightning bolt. Oh, that's so cool. I really want it to look like that it's like exploding and like messing everything up and stuff like that. Oh yeah, they will probably toss it out because they asked where do you get your MTG info from or what MTG content do you watch? Yeah. Did you actually watch? Did you actually say like Mike Hatcher or like Cinder Shadow or anything like that? Because that'd be pretty funny because both Cinder and Mike Hatcher are blacklisted people, so that might be really funny for them to read that and be like, "Damn it, another guy! We just have to mark him off the list. Toss it. Just toss the whole damn thing." Oh, too funny. We got another one. Toss the paper. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they say. Oh, so cool. Trying really hard with these lightning bolts. Desolator Magic, Mike Hatcher, Cinder Shadow. Oh, thank you. You included me on that list. Oh, it's so cool of you, Helfer Gamers. Thank you, man. I'd be a little worried about that list of people, though. I don't think they're going to take that seriously at all, which kind of sucks, but, you know. I'm glad that you, at least you were honest with that stuff, you know? Because, I mean, who knows? Maybe they will take it seriously. I don't even know. Maybe they'll decide that they need to pay attention to Magic streamers that don't want to necessarily kiss their buttholes all the time. I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to, because like what I want to do is I want to like add lightning bolts at the bottom, but like no matter how like I try to think about it, it just doesn't seem like it's something that I can actually do that would make sense for this artwork. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I was wondering if maybe I could like show like lightning bolts coming up from the bottom corners, and maybe that might look kind of cool, but yeah. Pay attention to people who want to have fun. Yeah, true story, Helfer Gamers. True story. I don't know. It's whatever. I mean, I wish you luck with it. I hope that maybe they will listen to what you wrote, because if you spend a lot of time working on it, you know, it kind of feels good when you can, you know, I got an idea. I think I know what I'm going to do. It kind of feels nice when you feel like you're actually being paid attention to, especially when you put a lot of work into what you're writing and stuff like that. I used to actually write like a long time ago. I used to write like essay question, like I used to answer essay questions for Wizards of the Coast and stuff like that when I was younger. I used to write like lots and lots of information to apply to them, and because I used to do questionnaires in some of their articles and stuff like that. And I used to be relatively serious about trying to like keep up with their work and stuff like that, and like the questions that they would ask people. But it got to a point of where I literally felt like that, like after a long time of doing it, I felt like a lot of the stuff that I was doing was just kind of falling into the void. For example, if you've ever heard of like the Great Designer Search for Wizards of the Coast. I actually participated in every single Great Designer Search they ever did. All of them. Like, I think they had like 3 or 4 of them, and I did every single one of them. And the last one that I participated in, I got all the way to, I think it was like round 3 or round 4, and then I got kicked out. But I mean, that was back during a time where like it wasn't necessarily about like their political opinions and stuff like that. Like I felt like they were actually like, I feel like they probably eliminated me for an actual like reasonable reason. Like in other words, like maybe my card design was not spot on, or maybe like I didn't answer a question properly or whatever, rather than like, oh, like he says something that like we should never allow to be said and stuff like that. Like I would never try to be a part of the Great Designer Search now, but when I was younger, I used to try and be a part of it, and I had a lot of fun. You know, I answered a lot of essay questions, and you know, tried like looking at interesting cards that they came up with designs for to like test people based on their knowledge of like card design. And I even like remember designing some cards specifically for the purpose of like having them look them over and decide whether or not they were good designs for cards and things like that. I was pissed they had tons of questions like, do you like bluffing your opponent? Do you like it when your actions make your opponent fall into your trap? There was like 10 questions like that. Yeah, I kind of recall stuff like that where they would like sometimes ask the same question over and over again in like a slightly different way, and it just never made any actual progress to like the point they were trying to make. Basically said, do you enjoy make life as miserable as possible. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were basically like targeting the spike mentality, you know, the tournament grinder style where like you'll try to win at any cost and stuff. Which, you know, it's like I get it. Like, I mean, that's probably the kind of people that they're interested in marketing towards because I feel like that a lot of cards are designed that way anyways. Like, I would definitely say that it seems more commonplace for cards to be designed for like a competitive meta style rather than for fun, you know, or interesting things and stuff like that. Like I miss interesting interactions with card design. You don't really see that as much. What you didn't want? What is that stupid card they keep reprinting all the time? The stupid Pegasus, you know. They keep reprinting the Pegasus over and over and over again. It's like, guys, come on. Like, yeah, it's a powerful card. Like, it's good at what it does, but like, get a little creative, guys. Come on, man. Like an enjoyable back and forth where you skip to play with your opponent and enjoy the game with your opponent, not working against them to make their life miserable. What the fuck is wrong with it? Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's whatever. Like, I mean, there's always going to be that competitive mentality, and the majority of players that play Magic, I feel like, are very. Well, I guess that's not true because I think I remember hearing the majority of players are actually casual, but um, there's always that really strong like amount of people who like all they want to do is to just win the game. Like that's all they care about, and you know, whatever. You know, I don't really care anymore. I don't buy Magic cards anymore. Like new Magic cards, anyways. I still buy old cards, but not really into buying new Magic cards anymore. And I mean that's fine. They can just keep designing for their meta and their standard and whatever, and they keep wanting to design, you know, chase rares and things like that. So you know what? Just let them do it. I don't care. I don't want to be a part of it. All right, so I got this kind of interesting idea, and I'll see where it takes me. So I kind of like made some like rocks and stuff down here on the bottom, and what I want to do is I want to make some sparks, kind of like coming out like all across this area, and just kind of like traveling all over the rocks and things like that. I think that might look kind of cool. Just kind of like wandering sparks that don't really, you know, they're not really coming from the sky or anything. They're just kind of like traveling all across the rocks. I think that might look really cool. Yeah, I think that looks really cool. I'm gonna add a few more, but I just wanted to kind of like experiment with it and see if it looked right because it kind of looks like as if like the lightning has like shocked the ground and now there's like little teeny tiny like lightning bolt sparks kind of like hopping over the rocks and like affecting everything, which I think looks really cool. I like the idea that there's like a residual shock left over and it's affecting everything. There we go. Sorry, once again, I'm getting quiet because these details, like, they really make me focus, you know? Like, the really teeny tiny stuff always makes me want to be quiet and kind of like try to focus on what I'm doing. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm not 100% sure yet. Um, hmm. I kind of want to go back up to these larger lightning bolts up near the top and just kind of like, I don't know, add a little bit more to them. I'm not 100% sure yet. Like I said, this is all just kind of trying to do what I think looks cool, but I'm not totally sure yet. Hmm. Huh. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm thinking that maybe what I want to do now is I want to add some, like, light brown color. Oh, hey, Wrath of Wood. Good to see you. How you doing, man? I'm just, working on this burst lightning. And I'm kind of, like, working on these really teeny tiny details on the, with the lightning bolts here and there. And I'm not 100% sure how I feel about them yet. Like, it's very, I don't know. Just not sure yet. I'm kind of just trying to. I'm actually kind of erasing some of the more wonky looking lightning bolts by covering them up with like some brown here and there, just to kind of I don't know, just to kind of hide them a little bit because I thought it was a little bit much. But I still think it looks pretty cool. Not totally sure yet. I don't even know if I want to add more lightning bolts over on this side yet because it looks kind of bare and I don't want it to like be lacking in any kind of like detail because there's so very little going on in this artwork that I kind of want to like make it really interesting and stand out. So that's kind of what I'm trying to work with here. Maybe I'll just kind of like bring like a big old swipe of white right down there. Just like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's been this very interesting work in progress that I have been kind of unsure about while I've been working on it. But I think it looks nice. I really do. It's like Shock the sequel. Yeah, I agree. I was actually talking about like what I really like about Burst Lightning. And one of the things that makes Burst Lightning so nice is that it's relevant no matter when you play it. So like if you draw it in the beginning of the game, its versatility as a shock is fantastic. But then like if you're in the really late game, like you could just pay a little bit extra mana and it's more powerful and gets more work done. Like I love that about this card. It's like it just like it doesn't matter what time you pull it, it's always going to be useful. You know, that's what I like about it. And it's like it's just a shock that just does more, you know? It's very nice. And that's the thing too that I really like about the card that I was talking about earlier is I really like the fact that like I love cards that like do lots of different things. So like cards that give you the feeling that like it's multiple cards in one. Like, you know, like for example, like Burst Lightning is like it's like two cards in one card. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to have like one really big like you don't need to have a small burn card and a big burn card because Burst Lightning is both of those in one, you know? Yeah, I'll give you a clean shot of the card. Let me I'm feeling like I'm about done with it, to be totally honest. I was actually planning that this one was going to be a bit easier to do and that you know, this would be a shorter stream. So, hey, Cinder Shadow. Good to see you, man. Oh, you taking a break from the kid? Very nice. Well, we're just working on a Burst Lightning here. And, yeah, I almost feel like I'm about done with it, to be totally honest. Now that I'm looking and see, what's actually really interesting is that I get a much different visual image of the card when I'm looking at it through the camera rather than looking at the card in person. And I can definitely say that based on, like, when I look down here on the bottom with the little shocks and stuff like that, I really like how that looks. Like, I was working on them on the card, and, like, while I was physically looking at the card itself, I was like, I'm not so sure how I feel about these teeny tiny lightning bolts on the bottom. But when I see it in the camera, it looks a lot nicer, and I think I really like how that turned out. However, I will say that I feel like these lightning bolts on the side are a little wonky. So I think I might kind of thin them down a little bit. This side looks really cool. I actually really like how this side looks because it's got all these little tiny streams of lightning bolts. I did actually have to kind of go over it with a brush to erase some small pieces. And the main thing that I really love about how this side is right here is that there's these little teeny tiny people down here just kind of hanging out. And it looks like that these lightning bolts on the side here are like exploding right in front of them, which is what I really like. Because, you know, the whole thing was really unassuming because in the original art, you just have the lightning bolts up here at the top, like hitting this mountain. And it's like really weird because it's like, what are those lightning bolts hitting? They're just hitting the mountain. Like it's not really doing anything. But like these ones down here look like they're messing up the little guys down here, which I really like. It looks like it's really screwing them up. Yeah, they do look a lot nicer. I think I'm going to try to slim these lightning bolts down. I'm probably going to take my black coloration and just kind of make them look a little more thin so that they look a little less awkward. So I think I'm going to do that, and then I'm probably going to start wrapping this up because I'm about done with it. And I do like how it looks. I really do. You know, it's just, I like it. I like the lightning bolt additions. I think that was the real secret to making this card go from looking how it was before and looking really spectacular, was making sure that there were all just like these little interesting lightning bolts going all over the place. And, you know, applying that interesting effect to them. Like, just to kind of make the card look like it's actually a lot more dangerous and affecting a lot more in general. So I'm just kind of adding in some black. I'm trying to slim down my lightning bolts because they look just a little fat on this one side. So I'm just kind of slimming them down with my tiny little detail brush. There we go. I'm doing that thing again where I get quiet when I'm working on my details. I'm sorry, guys. I can't, it's this natural habit that I have where like whenever I'm working on teeny tiny details that require a lot of focus, I just get really quiet. And like that's why I, you know, when I'm working with the other brushes, I can talk and be more comfortable with what I'm talking about. But with these little teeny tiny ones, it's like, oh, if I'm not completely focused on what I'm doing, I'm going to slip up and mess everything up, which is, you know, that's not true. Like, I don't think I've ever done that once before, but, you know, that's just how I feel in my head when I'm doing it. Thin or sharper? I guess I would definitely feel like thin, like I'm actually thinning them. I guess it does kind of look a little bit sharper in the process, but it is legitimately that I'm trying to thin them down because they just look fat. You know, but the camera itself is giving me a lot of help to trying to figure out how they look. Because like I said, looking at it through my eyes on the physical card versus looking at the camera definitely gives me a better idea of what looks weird and what doesn't look weird. Like, for example, if I wasn't looking in the camera, I wouldn't have noticed this one weird thing that I'm about to fix right now, which is this little awkward guy right here. I want that gone. That's very weird looking to me. So that's gone. And I'm going to get rid of that, just like that. And just kind of cover that up right there as best as I can. There. Okay. Well, here, I need a little bit more black on this one spot in particular. Oh, that looks so much nicer. It really does look nice now that I've actually thinned down the lines and kind of obscured the awkward white pieces that were not looking too good. Let me put a little bit of black on this one line over here as well, because it's kind of got this weird fade to it that doesn't make sense with the rest of the lightning bolt. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of carefully, as carefully as I can, I'm just going to kind of cover that up. Just like that. Oh, that's perfect. It's exactly how I wanted it to be. And then I can kind of thin that guy down just a little bit. There we go. And then kind of cover that up just a little bit. A little bit right there. Oh, goodness. I actually really like how that ended up. That thinning process really did a lot of work for this, because I was getting kind of worried of how that was looking. It looked a little kind of awkward and sloppy, and I didn't like it looking the way that it did. But now I think, let me look at it in the camera, because like I said, the camera is actually really helping me get a better visual image of how this is all turning out. So let's go ahead and take a look there. So I definitely thinned it down by a lot. I kind of cut off some of the awkward angles that this bolt had. And I did want it to get really long. So I think that's really close to how I really want it to be. Like, I think it looks awesome. Oh, hey! Oh my goodness, Galindo! Oh my good, I am so sorry I didn't notice that you were in here. Jesus, welcome, Galindo. Good to see you, man. Oh man, so cool. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Let's see. Let me kind of look around a little bit. Shock border reminds me of Kaladesh inventions. Oh, cool. Okay, I could see that. I'm trying to work on a deck tech, but finding the time to edit is hard. Oh yeah, yeah. It's, you know, deck techs. Is it that crazy like the Risen Reef build that you were doing that was winning so much the other night? Because that was really cool. I thought that Risen Reef thing was really cool. It's literally a better Coiling Oracle, which I love. Maybe I'll eventually paint a Coiling Oracle, because I do have a few of those. Coiling Oracle is such a powerful card. I love it. Oh, man. Good to see you, Galindo. Okay. Huge improvement. Oh, thank you. Okay, Helper Gamers. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys all got to come out here and watch me do this. I actually feel really comfortable with how it came out. I'm definitely glad I thinned down the lightning bolt. I'm really happy that I added these little shocks down here at the bottom. They look really cool. And I feel like that the way that we altered this card really made just made the card altogether look nicer. Because, like I said, like I was having a lot of issues with how this main art piece for Burst Lightning was. It just really seemed like unfocused, and like I didn't really get the idea that what was happening in the art was actually relative to what was happening in the card's effect. And I feel like that the way that we extended the art on this card really helps get the idea, like, because it feels like that there's burst lightning here, and there's a burst of lightning there, and some burst of lightning here, and then there's even little bursts of lightning down here on the bottom, and it really feels like a burst lightning, you know? So, like, and that's, like, really fun, and I really like when you can take a card that's kind of misdirected in its art style, and you can just kind of paint all over it, and really make it feel like that the card really is what the art is supposed to be. Like, that's a good feeling. And this is one of those cards where, because I haven't done very many cards. I mean, obviously, for anybody who was in here when I did the Kami of Lost Hope. Wait, was it Lost Hope? False Hope. Kami of False Hope. When I did Kami of False Hope, there were tons and tons of details that I had to work on. But most of the other cards don't require very much detail. But I was really glad that we got to work on this card and add all sorts of interesting details to it that really make it stand out better and look a lot more interesting, and really just kind of, you know, really give more flavor to the card that it was kind of missing on its own. So, you know, I'm feeling done with this. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, especially now that I can see that there are about 6 people in here, which is significantly more than what I had. So I'm going to kind of recap some things that I talked about earlier that I really want people to hear about. Let's see. Dark Rocks on the left looks sweet. It adds depth. Yeah, man. I agree. It adds the shading is what really gets it. It really makes the lightning bolts stand out really well. Um, like what you did to it, the card pops more. Yeah, totally, Galindo. I'm glad you think so as well. So, I'm going to kind of recap. The main thing that I really want to focus on is that I want to talk about just a little bit. So, for anybody who hasn't heard, I am working. All these streams are amounting to what is one big project. And hey, Wild Goat, welcome back. Glad to see you. Having a conversation with your landlord. Okay, cool, man. Um, so I want to kind of recap on what all these streams and all these painted cards are going to be. These are all kind of a big conglomerate project that I'm working on. So basically, if you guys haven't heard, the goal is I'm painting 15 cards. And the reason why is because in a normal everyday booster pack, there are 15 cards in a booster pack. So what my goal was is I was basically making my own 15 card booster pack. And that's what every one of these painted cards is for, is I'm making a 15 card booster pack, and it's going to have the normal amount of commons that a booster pack would have, the normal amount of uncommons, and then I was planning to either pick a rare or a mythic rare, which I have not decided. All my commons have been picked, all my uncommons have been picked, but the rare and mythic rare has not actually been picked yet. I have no idea what I want to do yet. And, I actually had an interesting conversation with Helfer Gamers the other day, who was giving me lots of good advice as to what to do with this once I actually, because I kind of started talking about this the other night. And he basically explained that what might be an interesting idea is to possibly look into people that are interested in buying this booster pack that I'm making, which, by the way, I will mention the booster pack is going to be called Spicy Masters. And the goal is I actually want to find a way to get a proper packaging where I can actually get a proper booster packaging wrap and find a way to put my own art design on the actual booster pack wrapper and then seal it myself with like its own special, sealer or whatever. And I actually have not figured that out yet. Like I said, this has all been a constant work in progress. And the only reason why I was able to really develop this idea recently is because it's only just now started coming to fruition and really coming together better, which is why I was a lot more comfortable with it. Originally, all I knew was I wanted to make some kind of booster pack, and I didn't really know what I was doing with it. But now I've kind of got a better idea of what I actually want to do with it. And like I said, I'm planning to call it, I might change the name, but I'm sticking to right now what I'm calling Spicy Masters. And it'll literally be a booster pack of 15 cards, and all the cards will be altered. And every single one of these alters will be done on these streams. And basically, I have a starting price for anybody that's curious or interested or whatever. The opening price for this booster pack is going to be $500. And for anybody who knows their math would know that that is significantly cheaper than buying multiple $50 singles from me. Because I do I basically am doing the singles that I'm painting for people are going to be $50 a pop. And my goal is that I wanted to make a booster pack and sell it for cheaper than what it would be to pay $50 per piece. And so that's why I settled on a $500 booster pack, which is pretty cheap for that price. And it will be, if everything goes right, it'll be sealed. You can either open it yourself if you choose to buy it. You can open it yourself, or you can hold on to it as a collector's item. And one of the things that'll be really nice is, and this was another idea from Helfer Gamers, is that all these streams will be held onto on my channel, as well as I might even possibly set up a way for them to be, like the streams to be owned on like a miniature flash drive or something, or a disc or something where basically the person who buys the pack will be able to see how all the cards were made and will be able to personally know what all the cards are in the pack, so that way if they choose that they want it to be a collector's item and never open it, they will still be able to know what the cards are because they're on stream and they can watch the processes and all that. So that's basically what's going on. And I also, once again, like a $5 SD card. Yes, thank you for Hell for Gamers. I'll contact you after. Okay, cool. Hell for Gamers, thank you so much. I really appreciate. You have been one of the most helpful people on my channel. Like, I've had multiple people helping me out along the way, and you have been a source of great advice ever since you joined my channel. You gave me a wonderful set of options and ideas for improving my workstation that were not just, like, oh, you just need to be better. They were legitimate criticisms that I can actually work towards and afford eventually. So I really appreciate all of your help you've been giving me. I do actually, Wrath of Wood, I do in fact put my signature on all of my cards. I have a tag. It's basically a teeny tiny REZ in Sharpie on the bottom corner. So every single card I make will have that little REZ token on them. So, but the thing is too, is that I'm also willing to, for whenever I finish a card or something like that, especially if I'm doing a commission or something, anybody has the option, because I always put my tag, but I don't put my signature. Anybody has the option of asking me to put my signature on the actual card if you so choose to. If you want just the tag and not the signature, that's fine as well. So that is always an option. Anyways, Hell for Gamers has been wonderful in giving me lots of very useful criticisms and helping me improve my process along the way. And ever since I told him about what I was doing for this Spicy Masters pack, he has been giving me lots of good ideas. Like, for example, it was also his idea for me to create an eBay account, which I don't already have. And I'm planning to probably basically set, once the Spicy Masters pack is finished, I'm going to probably put it on eBay and have a base price of $500, and anybody can bid up from there. And if it doesn't go up from 500, that's okay, because that is my original pricing anyways. And if it goes up for 500, you guys are awesome, So that's basically what's going on. And the thing is that I also plan that this particular booster pack that I am designing is not going to be the only one I'm ever going to do. This is just what I wanted to start on. And it's what I wanted to focus on, and I wanted to make it a project that I was working on continuously to see how I liked it, how I felt, how other people felt about it. And I do plan on doing more in the future, because I've been enjoying every single one of these that I've done. They're fantastic and fun, and I'm having a blast, and I want to keep doing it. I do. It's fun. And having you guys all in here helping me along the way has just been even more fun. So that's basically what I'm working on. So that's why I'm doing 15 cards. Actually, I plan on doing a stream tomorrow, and for any of you who have the chance to come out and join me in the stream tomorrow, I will be working on the very first uncommon in the pack. It'll be a lot of fun. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I also don't plan to only do magic cards. It's just that I wanted to do magic cards because that's what I wanted to do. And that also seems to be a relatively a good starting interest point for a lot of people that I spend time with anyways on here. A lot of you guys are Magic players, and I know that working on magic cards is right up your alley, and that interests you. But I do actually plan on expanding. Right now I am sticking to painting. But I do plan on doing other things like painting on canvas, because I have done one canvas painting, and I do plan on doing more in the future. And it would be very fun for me to change up my workstation, break out my easel, and put up some canvas and actually paint on stream on a canvas every once in a while. Some other things that I was thinking about doing is painting Pokemon cards, because I actually have a very large collection of old Pokemon cards that are bulk, and they don't really serve a purpose. And I was like, well, might as well treat my Pokemon cards like I treat my Magic cards. Why not paint a few? You know, because otherwise they're just sitting there doing nothing. So I'll probably be painting some old Pokemon cards. I was also suggested by a couple of people of maybe looking into painting miniatures. I have never actually painted a miniature before, but it is something that I think I might be interested in trying out. So that's also a possible future thing that I might do. I do also have like they're very small. I don't have very many because I remember giving away most of them, but I have a few Yu-Gi-Oh cards somewhere around here. I might actually paint a Yu-Gi-Oh card just for the hell of it. Um, you know, I wouldn't say that that's going to be a common thing for me because I actually don't own very many Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I don't plan on going out and buying a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards just to do this, you know, because I'd rather go through the cards that I already own instead. Um, but like I said, that's a different case for if I'm doing a commission. Like if somebody wants me to uh, paint something special for them and I don't already own it, I would be more than happy to go online and order a copy of the card. However, I will say that any expenses involved in purchasing a card that I don't have will be added on to the $50 price tag. So, like, if you want me to paint like a $20 card, that means that instead of $50, it'll be a $70 commission. So that's just to pay for the price of the card itself. Um, so yeah, I think that that's the majority of what I wanted to talk about. I will say this also. I've been going through these last couple of weeks. I've been going through some really rough life things that I'm not too comfortable with talking about. But because of those life events that have been hitting me recently, my streaming might be a little infrequent. I'm not 100% sure if I can maintain this schedule continuously. It might have to go through a few different changes, but for right now, I can still plan on having the schedule that I've been doing for these streams lately. But like I said, I don't know what the future holds for me, and there's been a lot of chaos in my life within the last couple of weeks, and I just have to adapt to that. So I will be sure to inform you guys on the Discord. If you're not already on there, let me know, and I will send you an invite to the Discord. And I will be sure to let you guys know if anything comes up that makes me not able to stream or whatever. I'll do my best to keep you guys as informed as possible for this stuff. So I think that's the majority of the announcements that I wanted to make while I have so many of you in here right now. So I think I'm going to start wrapping it up. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about or bring up? Like anything you guys wanted me to read over or bring up right before I start ending this? Feel free to hit me up in the comments, the chat room. I'm going to take a swig of water while I wait. Okay, that was good. Love water. Okay. So yeah, it looks like you guys are good. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I had a great time. This was a lot of fun. For anybody that might be new here, feel free to subscribe and ring that bell so that you can know when my streams are going up. I also have a Discord, so feel free to let me know if you want to join my Discord if you're not already in it. The Discord is useful for we can talk about Magic in general. We can keep each other updated on what's happening in Magic. Oh well, Thank you, Galindo. I am doing great. I was having kind of a rough day yesterday. A lot of bad stuff happened, but I got over it. And I've been having a wonderful day today. I went out and spent some time with one of my best friends, and I haven't seen her in a while, and we're very close. And we hung out for a couple of hours, and then I took myself out to a really nice lunch. And then I came back, and I came here to paint with you guys. So that's pretty much been my day. And yeah, it's been great. Yeah, thank you, Cinder. I was in a pretty rough place last night, but I hanging out with both you and Mike yesterday really helped me out a lot. Helped me deal with a lot of issues that I was having, and also seeing my best friend today. She helped talk me through a lot of the stuff I was going through, and I definitely feel a lot better today. Things have been wonderful, and like I said, I here I am painting in front of you guys, and I feel awesome. So yeah, it's been great. Like I said, subscribe, hit that bell. Feel free to join the Discord. If not, you can contact me. All right, life is weird. It's true. Good to hear. FYI, I got a package to open on stream night. Cool. Well, I will try and be there tonight, Cinder. I will definitely join you for that. So yeah. And also, I've mentioned this before. I gotta shill myself out a little bit. Down in my description, I now have a PayPal account. Feel free to donate. Whether you can either pay my PayPal for the purpose of requesting a commission. I do think it's probably a good idea to try and contact me before you actually pay for a commission. For anything that, if you just want to give me money just because you feel like giving me money, because you enjoy my streams and stuff like that, you can do that too. And I will definitely give anybody who sends me money a nice little shout out. Let's see what else. So PayPal, notifications, subscriptions. Let's see, the Discord. I think I'm just going to wrap it up here. And thank you guys so much for coming out. I really am happy to have you guys in here. It's, all the support you guys give me, the advice, the support, everything really helps me keep me doing this stuff and doing all these fun paintings and even making me work on this project. I really love it. So thank you guys so much for coming out. And I will wrap it up by saying, follow your dreams. And if you do, they will get you right to where you need to be. So take it easy, guys. Love ya. Bye.